Last orders at the bar.
A night in with Mauler and the drinker, getting trashed with the web's free thinkers. A cheap night cause I'm feeling kinda thrifty, got a 10-pack of beers and a bottle of whiskey. Hop up the cork, have a glass of wine, I feel safe, I'll be fine. Trouble walking in a straight line, but pour me a Pinot Noir. It's open bar with our hosts, Mauler and the critical drinker.
Oh, hi there, you beautiful people.
Hello.
Welcome back to another episode of Last Orders. Mauler and I are here to answer your most burning questions, your most itchy questions, the kind that need soothing cream to help you out. Well,
oh man, cream, yeah.
Cream is good, yeah. I'm going to get you started on cream liqueurs again, aren't I? Just never stop talking about them, god damn it. Have you had any more strange looks from the checkout girls at your local B&M?
No, so you just have to wear a mask, and then even if they do, they don't know who you are, so it's all good. It's not a balaclava, because then they think you're trying to rob the plane. Yeah.
It can go south pretty quickly when you do that, but yeah, the theory's sound, I would say. But welcome back for everyone who's joining us for this. I think we should dive right into the questions that we got from Open Bar 153.
Sweet.
Well, first of all, one of my subscribers was kind enough to send me the member super chats because they tend to just vanish after the fact. So I think we got through most of them. There was like a couple left over. So I'll just do them here anyway. So we know we haven't missed any. But thank you to that man who sent me them. Space Whiskey said, liked weapons a lot. I didn't like the jump scares. They felt kind of off. The sound felt delayed. Did you have that at all? I don't think I experienced it.
With weapons?
Yeah.
No, I generally don't like jump scares. There's very few that I think are really well done. And in that, two of them were in nightmares, which I find more forgivable, in that context, because
sure,
nightmares are fucking weird. But no, I didn't feel like it was out of sync or anything.
Our Rob or Ross says the exposition started 7 seconds in, and there's no recovering from that.
Alien news?
Yeah, it's got to be that. Yeah, can't
it's
wait
horrendous.
for the next episode. Yeah, can't wait for the next one, man. It's going to be interesting. Snacks says she was on the zoo ship with my mom when she was researching aliens right before she died. It's funny, when I started that sentence there, I didn't quite know where it was going. I probably should have pre-read it. Kuhaku says, Alien Earth sounds like complete garbage written by people who never watched any Alien and chose to write because they've never watched any Alien. Yeah, I mean, I wonder if there's some truth in that, actually. In the same way that they choose people to write Marvel movies that have never watched or never read the comics. It's like, are they actually doing this to us now? Gordon Cadell says, what happened to the music in shows like this? Alien, we had the atmospheric music from Jerry Goldsmith and action tension from Horner. What happened? Yeah, now we've got rock music. So that's great. Really puts me in the horror mood.
Yeah.
Kevin O'Neill, all these years and no one has a script about pitting a Predator or two against a squad of colonial Marines. I know, I've suggested that before. I think that'd be great fun.
Maybe next decade we'll get it.
Maybe. Whit G says, look at this fucking lineup. I know. Yeah. Had a bunch of absolute chads lined up for that one. But yeah, it was a pleasure. All right. So that was all the member super chats there. So pleasure going through them. The main ones here. It's Mr. Yang says, hello, Bar. Can't wait to see Weapons. On the topic of horror films, I recommend 1997's Perfect Blue, an anime film. Have you all seen it? Films like Requiem for a Dream and Black Swan were inspired by this one. I have not seen that one, no.
Nor have I, but it's Aronofsky that made those two, right?
Yeah, I wouldn't necessarily put them in the category of horror films either. They're like dramas.
Disturbing.
Really.
There's a lot of disturbing shit that happens in both of them, but yeah.
That is true. Brother Voltus says, hey, Drinker, when you and your pals are done talking about Alien, can you please watch the trailer for Out of Words? Oh, okay. I mean, we can definitely watch that after this. Zendu says, hello all. I'm pretty sure you started in 1985 for fun facts. Okay, so we got a bit of time
Hmm.
left then.
Little bit.
Unfortunately, missing arguably the best year for movies, 1984. Well, we'll correct that in about, what, 9 months,
Yeah.
roughly? Yeah, we'll build up to that. Mexi Rage says, sup everyone, question for Mahler. Is EFAP ever thought about doing an animated movies arc for all of the best hitters? Why do writers hate Pips so much? Pips?
We were gonna do a Pixar sort of golden age thing. We've definitely been thinking about that. We were thinking about like a selection that maybe would include stuff like Iron Giant or Anastasia and stuff like that. But we're just things are still getting sorted out in terms of what the current arcs are. We're almost through completing them. But yes, that's definitely on the table.
Nice. Next up is Big J says, Mauler, the Gun Bros are starting to release some Superman videos that seem like prime EFAP fodder. Is the
Might
cope
be
coming hard?
might be a retarded Avengers on the horizon. The
Excellent.
Superman conversation has been hilarious. The amount of the sort of switching up of there was a bit of a universal praise, but once the HD versions come out, a lot of people have been noticing stuff about the movie. Not just like we already knew it was going to be relatively ugly because of it's the same cinematographer as the Flash. That was like before the film even came out, and then the trailer, and it was like, ugh. But there's just lots of retarded shit that's much clearer now, thanks to the HD version, and lots of conversations been happening.
There's no place to hide in HD. Captain Eclectic. After watching Alien Earth, I had a horrible idea. I think they might retcon Bishop to be a hybrid. Nah.
No way.
Bishop doesn't act like a human.
Oh, God. Just leave it alone.
Leave Bishop alone. Captain Winkle says, you guys should bring Mr. H. He's been simping for Disney Alien and Predator big time. He's fallen for member berries and mediocre material. We lost him. That's all right. We can bring him back. We'll bring him into the light. It is a shame he couldn't make it, actually. I did invite him for that stream, but he was away doing a podcast. I think he was in London or something. Has he been doing it with the Lotus Eaters? I think he's been doing stuff with them. So, yeah, he wasn't able to make it back in time, unfortunately. But, yeah, we're going to be obviously talking about Alien Earth over the next several weeks, I would imagine.
Yeah.
So, surely we can get him in at some point. It'll be interesting to see if he maintains that position or if, with each passing week, he just sort of deflates. Like, oh no, it's not what I hoped.
Just at the premise, what a retarded show. Children and robots fighting aliens. Why are we doing this?
Io says, tell, don't show, then tell again, just in case the audience isn't as smart as the writers. Yep. Fourth drawer down says, I'm thinking that Noah Hawley probably has an issue with all this Peter Pan shit. He probably spent his childhood making home movies on his little Super 8 camera rather than playing outside on his red bike. I mean, who knows what's going on there? I don't know if this... I want to give him the benefit of the doubt a little bit as a creative, because he has done good stuff in the past. I liked his work on Legion and stuff, but yeah, this just feels weird. You're trying to merge together two things that really shouldn't go. Cannon Folderall. Oof, lads, this sounds dire. Thanks for suffering so that I don't have to. Have a fraction of my dollars saved by not subbing to Disney Plus and Hulu to watch this dreck. Cheers. Thank you, man. The money dulls the pain a little bit, so I appreciate you. Rhonda PG. Question for all of you. What TV show, movie, or video game had a moment that resulted in its downfall? Can you give me examples? For me, it's Doctor Who, DEI era, or Mandalorian's bad third season. Cheers. Yeah, I mean, sure. Like, I guess the example we all cite is the moment where Joel gets killed in Last of Us Part 2. I mean, that was pretty much it for most people.
It's almost
I think
like
a lot of people just stopped playing at that point.
Each of these shows jumping the shark moment, right? But like jumping the shark has just been kind of outclassed because that's silly as opposed to a moment that destroys like everything meaningful about the show, whatever that may be. Is Game of Thrones, pick your poison, essentially. Lots of different ones.
We had a conversation about this a long time ago, didn't we? And you pointed to like basically one of the exact scenes where you were like, yeah, this is the point where I knew this show was fucking retarded now.
Oh,
And
I'm not sure if was I talking about the end of season 4.
it was a moment where someone gets like killed. There, it's the guys who are up north. Chris, you know when
Past the
Bran
wall.
gets, yeah, when Bran gets taken to like the one-eyed raven, and he's
Yeah,
accompanied by like a bunch of like weird guardian people.
yeah.
Is there
Jojen
not a
Reed.
bit? Yeah, is there not a bit there where they like, I don't know, one of them gets like taken down and they just like
The acting is
like
horrendous, and it's really like stupid and
yeah,
awkward.
yeah,
That's the same episode as the Hound and Brienne fight, which is horribly written. Like, to make them fight, the writers had no idea how to do it, so they just made
yes,
it so that neither of them say anything meaningful to each other. Like they have to speak in a very specific way so that they get the wrong impression of each other. And then that's also the episode where they fuck Tyrion's story from the book, which isn't why it's bad. It's that they remove certain elements, and so it makes him killing Tywin a lot less meaningful,
right,
which they didn't have to do. And they did not include Lady Stoneheart as well, who is pivotal to the events of the Game of Thrones story as it goes forward. So yeah, that's for me where the show started to like it was dealt a death blow. But obviously, as the seasons kick on, there's lots of basically anyone's death is bad. Like it's usually surrounded by bullshit. But a lot of people pick the long night as the actual part where the show dies, and then I think most like the lion's share of fans left on the Bells where Danny burnt King's Landing.
yeah, for sure. In terms of Star Wars, like, what's the point in Force Awakens? I mean,
Oh,
the point in the Force Awakens where you realize, oh god, this movie's shit. Like,
I
because
mean,
presumably it gets off to an okay start, presumably. With
yeah. Well, I think that the first maybe half hours got some stuff in it that's actually okay. Obviously, the world building just gets skewered straight away, which kind of sucks.
yeah,
But you still got so many characters to work with up until a point. Um, I mean, a lot of people would tell you it's when Han dies is when like they're out sort of thing. But
I'm
you know,
beginning to
I
think it
think
might
surely
be.
TLJ would be the one you'd pick for it's when
It is, yeah, but I didn't want to make that assumption because I know, like, you've got a burning, an abiding hatred for Force Awakens, and I thought I didn't want to just jump straight to TLJ.
I
Because
can hate them all. It's okay, but
yeah, yeah,
I don't know where TFA becomes like irredeemable slop is probably when they blow up the 5 planets. There's a couple of things that happen around that area of the film where it's just like, oh, this is like absolute shit. Because remember that wipes out the good guys, so to speak.
yes,
So all that's left is our underdog team, and they have to blow up the new Death Star. And it's just like, oh my god. Um, TLJ is probably when Luke says he just wanted to come to this island to die when the whole galaxy is in turmoil and his family are dying.
I think probably you could make the argument that the moment he accepts the lightsaber and then throws it over his shoulder and walks away.
That was certainly shocking for a lot of people, but you could still maybe contextualize that. But when you find out definitively he came to this island, he abandoned everyone he loves to hopefully just kill himself. It's like, wow, cool.
Yep,
Thank you for that.
how inspiring. Flummoxed Buffoon says the quality of an alien entry is proportionate to the quality of the goo in the entry. The hybrids are full of creamy goo, so that is a start. Goo maketh the show. I mean, you could go by that rationale, I guess. Like, it's not really creamy goo; it's more like milk. But
Yeah.
yeah, we need to see one of them get cut open, I guess, so we see what's in them.
Which we
Another
will get.
name says, "I'm waiting for the show to make an illegal alien allegory. It is Disney after all. There'll be something." The xenomorphs are just misunderstood. Sorry, they're just trying to make a better life for themselves. I think they can integrate into our culture. It'll be fine.
Yay.
Eatman says Drinker directs the next Bond trilogy with Rachel Zegler, Cynthia Erivo, and Bella Ramsey as Bond girls. Mahler co-hosts 2 boogie shows for 3 years in person and gets 2 funded films. So, would you accept that offer?
If it gets you a Bond film, I would make a lot of sacrifices.
Well, no. So, you get 2 films of your choice fully funded, but you have to co-host
Oh, I thought this was all one big thing.
No, I think it's our sort of respective choices, right? So you get 2 films that you get to make, and they're fully funded, but you've got to spend 3 years in person with Boogie doing a show every week.
I think I'd make that sacrifice.
Oh my god,
It'd probably be funny.
Boogie would be murdered after the first month, and yeah, I get to direct a Bond trilogy, but it's got to have Rachel Zegler, Cynthia Erivo, and Bella Ramsey as Bond girls. Yeah,
I mean, you can work with that, as in they can be in it and they can be girls, and then they could be, who knows, you could make them evil. Some Bond girls turn out to be evil in the storyline, you know.
or like, so Bond meets them, you know, like in a casino or something, somewhere suitably exotic. You know, they saunter over to introduce themselves, and bam, a sniper takes them out. Like, oh shit.
They could just be the assassins. They're like a trio of assassins. They're famous, and Bond, you know, they try to seduce him, but he seduces them back, Austin Powers style, and he wins. And then they're like desperate to, you know, just be with him, and he's like, nah, no such luck, and then kills them.
I can just imagine that 3 trying to seduce Bond and him just being like, nah, I'm all right. John McKinley says, it sounds to me that Vasquez was more badass, more attractive, and way more interesting than anything this slop has to offer. I'll just go back and watch the first 2 instead. RIP to Aliens and Predator. I hate this timeline. Hail, gentlemen, and cheers. I think he summed up all of our thoughts there, really, hasn't he?
Vasquez is awesome.
She is. KC Masterpiece says, I like how the trillionaire genius thinks he's smart, but is more convincing as a moron. I feel like this is a metaphor for the writing team of this abysmal, boring wreck of a show. That one I think I read out on the night, and it's 100% true. Social Morlock says, Alien and its retarded friends would watch that show. Let's do that. They just go on days out together and stuff. Toad Free says, does Gladys not hear the stoner in the house? Why didn't the mom take the object from the car to turn teacher into a weapon? None of the kids had a dog. Police don't use dog. Took months to look into the direction that the kids ran, etc., etc. Good script, my ass. So,
well, the police looking into the lines that the kids would have gone would have taken them to an area. If you remember, Josh Brolin draws a circle, and the house they need to check is a house they did actually check.
Yes.
So that's, you know, the police could have done a better job. My criticism is that they would have found out that the parents wouldn't have gone to their respective jobs in a long time. And it's pretty suspicious that the dad had a stroke and there's nothing on medical records about that. And the mum's just disappeared. This would be enough for any detective to be like, something weird's going on in that house.
And yeah, the other points, like none of the kids had a dog, i.e. something that would bark when they try to run out of the house in the middle of the night. Yeah, I mean, you could possibly use that argument. I think that's a fair criticism. And the police don't use dogs. Well, that is a trickier one because it's like you're talking about an area where the kids have all spent time in the past. So I don't know if like their scent would be just on everything. Whether the dogs would even be able to track them down that way.
Not impossible. As for when the druggie was in the house, she knew he was. If you remember, she does cast a spell to send the mum and dad after him. That's why he runs out of the room. Remember, he tries to get into Gladys's room and it's locked. She knows he's there.
Yeah. Because as well, like she was lying on the bed at that point, wasn't she?
She was weaker at that point, but strong enough to cast a spell to try and get him out.
Yeah, I mean, I guess that was my point in that, when she's doing that whole, like, sucking the energy out of people and just trying to, like, rejuvenate herself, I think she has to go into almost, like, an inactive state in order to do it. So, yeah, probably explains why.
Even if all of these things were definitively holes or issues or stretches or whatever, I'd be like, okay, but we've covered what, like 2% of the movie? There's still a hell of a lot they do well in it.
Yeah.
I don't think anyone's saying it's perfect, but, like, there's so much to appreciate about how the script is written.
Slain Hope says these shows need an intelligence rating system. Yeah, like this show has been rated R for retarded.
See, and that's a great comparison because I don't know what is good about Alien Earth. I struggle to find anything right and wise that I was like, oh man, that's other than ideas. But even then, you know.
Yeah. Social Morlock says, Kreger, with his mastery of suspense, could he do an Alien film? Thoughts on what he'll give us with his Resident Evil? Also, Shelby Oaks is coming. Yeah, we had another super chat about that. So yeah, could he do an Alien film? I think so, with the atmosphere that he gives us in Weapons. I think that'd be
Not
quite
impossible,
neat.
yeah.
With Resident Evil, yeah, like he's not saying the right things when he's talking about this in interviews, how it's just going to be a completely like unrelated story. But hey, say it's like a group of survivors that have got to try and fight their way out of Raccoon City, during the outbreak. There's stuff you can do there. It doesn't have to rely on Leon or Claire or whatever.
You kind of wish you could just talk to him for like 5 seconds and be like, listen, whatever you want to do, you go right ahead. Just please know Resident Evil has had this horrifying curse that no one is able to adapt it faithfully. So just keep that in mind, maybe. Just saying.
Resident Evil fans, they're a little bit sensitive when it comes to Hollywood adaptations. Yeah. Martin Mayo says, Drinker and Mauler, as writers, why would you choose a prequel over a sequel? I wouldn't, ideally, but...
Ideally, I wouldn't either. There would have to be a lot more than just filling in the background of one character or one event. You'd really want to be able to justify that. And really, I don't know, I guess you don't want it to just be supplemental to the thing that it's being made before. You kind of want it to tell its own story that's worthwhile, but also maybe change the context that makes something more worthwhile.
Yeah, I think it's always conceivable that you think to yourself, hey, I've got this amazing idea, but the only place I can realistically slot it in is with these characters before the events of, the rest of the stories that we've already told. And if that's the case, then sure, you can make it work. It's just, as a writer and, wanting that desire for a bit more creative freedom, I would rather do a sequel where, everything past that is just up to me to decide rather than having to carefully slot it into the events that are going to happen after it. I feel like that's a bit more of a challenge. The Imperial Brick says, somehow in 100 years, touchscreens got worse. Yeah, that's where you have to try and suspend disbelief a little bit, where they've got to go from the technology of 1979's Alien to the current day, or beyond the current day, and somehow merge the two together. It's imperfect, but I don't know. I guess the show tries its best.
There's some sympathy to be had. I get the challenge, Remember, Prometheus's technology was insane, and it was like, wow, you didn't even try.
You just got straight up holograms and everything. Just fuck off. Yeah. Hikira says, I miss the alien having no defined origin. We didn't need one. Yeah, I like that as well. The mystery is way more interesting than the answers.
Are we talking about Alien Covenant and Prometheus having done that?
I would assume so, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, maybe we'd feel differently if those films were good. I don't know.
I just think things like The Space Jockey, it was a great mystery. It was fascinating to speculate on what it was, where that ship came from, all that stuff. And then to have Prometheus just try and answer it, but not really.
I'm with you. If there was a really, an incredible film, an 11 out of 10 movie that was made from it, maybe we'd be saying, yeah, I wouldn't have recommended it, but they managed to really make it worthwhile.
Rossi says, much love to my guy, Niet. Yes, indeed, it was good to have him back on. Snex says, we'll find out the kids chosen for the robot project had found golden tickets in Whale and Yutani chocolate bars. I mean, they did say that they were special in some way. Who knows what that means?
Well, we went past the sort of how the process of moving them into the bodies pretty quickly. The show's probably going to have a big reveal for that, what actually happened and how it affects who they are, whatever.
I wouldn't be surprised if the company actually made them terminally ill as well. So they'd have the justification to transfer them into these new bodies.
It's so close to Blade Runner, though. We'll see. Maybe they can do something with it. It's not shit.
Zeitgeist Ruminator says, did Chris say on FT that Alien Earth is like a reverse Peter Pan, kids traveling to Neverland and becoming adults? I'll add it's a satire on some people acting like children in adult bodies. It could well be. Yeah.
Well, I mean, the connection, I assume, is just that by putting these kids into adult bodies, they never grow up. They're already set in, The weird thing I found is like they haven't done anything to try and get these kids to grow up in any way. They're just like goofing around, and then it's like time to go to war. You're like, oh, okay.
Yeah. The bit that made me laugh as well was where she straps that little sword to her back.
Yeah.
Where it's like, I know she didn't know this in advance, but it's like singularly the worst possible weapon you can use to take on a xenomorph.
I thought,
Like,
there's that.
blade.
It's also not even. It's a paper cutter, right? Like it's not even. It's so weird.
It's just it's Peter Pan's little sword. You know, it's all just factoring into
Why
like
do we
the
have to keep
iconography of that.
panning? Stop panning just because you got the reference. It's so. Everyone's been saying it. It is true. It's just like there's no subtlety here at all. Why don't you want just a little bit? Jesus.
Yeah. J Smart says it feels like a tug of war between penny pinchers and young buck writers. The bucks want new stuff, and the pinchers want to just have money thrown at them. And this is what you end up with. Scotty says they should just make Scooby Doo meets the Alien. I'd watch that.
Sure.
Quantum Ranger Power says, how long until people admit Superman didn't succeed? I mean, it's starting to happen.
You're getting there, yeah. You just gotta give him more time still. The honestly, this is the sad reality, but we've seen this happen so many times. When they finally admit it, no one will care. Like it'll be well past to the point where even me and Drink will be like, "Oh, they finally admitted it." Man, remember all those years ago, like when they would,
I Pancake That says, I honestly would have preferred them to turn Alien Isolation into a TV show. That game had such good atmosphere, and Amanda Ripley was actually well written. Yeah, I've heard nothing but praise for it. So, yeah. Reeps says the comment cope in Muller and Gary's review is amazing. Were people not liking it?
Oh well, I've always been like expecting that my takes will be considered too harsh on any new Alien thing, but I mean it's Romulus all over again. I think that's when I said to you, I was just like, I don't care. You guys are all going to say this is shit eventually because it is. It's just so bad.
Big T says Noah Hawley did write episode 2. Whether he wrote it or not, he's the showrunner and creator and said good enough.
Oh, absolutely, he's responsible for this show. I would never be like, oh, anyway, maybe he's just. I think Gary was saying is like, which Noah Hawley we're gonna get in terms of like he's made good stuff and bad stuff. It's like we're getting the bad stuff one.
Seems that way. Kevin O'Neill, sup panel? Off to my stag party tomorrow. Awesome. Question: can you name a movie that gets better every time you watch it and one that gets worse every time? My answers in that order are Pitch Black and The Dark Knight. Cheers. That's a good question, actually.
Wait, did they just say The Dark Knight gets better or worse as they watch it?
Worse, I think, in this case.
Damn. Well, yeah. I'd submit Hot Fuzz for gets better every single time you watch it.
Yep. I'm going to stick with the Aliens theme and say Aliens.
I'd agree with that
get
too.
A lot of enjoyment out of that each time.
Gets worse every time, though. How many films do I even watch that I consider awful and rewatch them a lot?
Or like maybe you were middling on it to begin with, and then like you watch it again, and it's like, oh no, that's actually pretty shit, and then just it goes from there.
Oh well, I mean, you know what? TFA. The more you rewatch it, the more shit it gets.
What was it? Despot of Antrim actually did a video about that just recently, where he rewatched TFA for the first time in maybe 10 years, and he's like, oh, holy crap. It's like, I had these memories of it being like, it was shit, but there were still enjoyable bits. And he's like, no, it's just absolutely terrible. And it has not aged well at all. Kind of interesting.
It was a different time.
Bobby says, in the recast for Predator, you should have included Scott Adkins and Michael Jai White. Shame those guys are not well known. Also, how about pointless facts about a specific movie? Well, that's the thing I could do, I suppose. But I tried to tie it to the the numbers, but we could do something like that. Scott Adkins, he's never quite hit the big time to become like a well-known name. He's just like action-y guy that shows up from time to time, and he's pretty cool. Shlomi Liner says, hey Drinker, just a question. Are having a lot of traffic where you're from when they shut down 60 roads for Spider-Man? You live in that area? That's Glasgow, I think. So no. So I didn't have to care about that. Reeps says the audiobook Brigador is a fantastic palate cleanser if you want a solid sci-fi action story with compelling characters and vivid world building. All right, good recommendation. Book of Grudges. Previously, you said the only World War II battle fought on US soil was Pearl Harbor. There was also a battle fought in Alaska. Look it up. It's interesting. Yeah, the Japanese invaded some of the Aleutian Islands off the coast of Alaska. And, as happened all across the Pacific and stuff, they had to retake them one island at a time. Apparently, the Japanese were thoroughly miserable and didn't like Alaska at all. And they were quite happy to get captured, which, makes sense. They're not really built for that kind of climate.
Yeah.
Christian Stamos says, my brother saw Alien for the first time recently and found it boring. He said the alien looked like an impressive doll on a dolly, but never looked real or lifelike. Do you perhaps need to see Alien as a kid to be impressed? I remember reading that one out actually on the night.
Yeah.
We were all quite enraged by it. Get yourself a new brother, sir. Chris says, the best thing that happened to Weapons is that it never landed in the hands of Jordan Peele. Yeah, that's probably a good thing, actually. He would have made it about race or something. Skyver says, rewatching Weapons this weekend. What a film. Excellent. Zuki says, the detectives did a great job investigating Alex in Weapons, presumably.
Yeah, like I said, my big issue with the plot would be the police and their investigation. And it would always honestly have been solved if they'd just told us that Gladys cast particular spells in order to cover, instead of telling us that she just told the police that the mum is busy and the dad had a stroke. It's like, what? Holy shit.
Yeah. Yep. I think it might have been Reaper on the night who suggested, if she just casts a spell where they look into the room and the kids are there, but they can't see them or something. And
that would be cheap as hell to show us, because we would obviously be like, huh, they're not doing anything. And then she's smiling, and you're like, oh, I think I know what's going on.
Yeah. Superfly, I'll save you guys some time. Do not watch K-pop Demon Hunters. As a K-pop fan, I can say the movie is mid to bad and you'll hate it. I mean, I don't know what I would judge it against, so maybe I would think it's the best thing ever. I'm not sure. I'm not rushing out to see it, to be honest. Jay Fraser, hail gents, thoughts on the criticism of horror films being the lowest form of cinema? To me, I believe it's the hardest genre to create next to comedy. Yeah, it's an interesting one. I think they get so much criticism because they're just seen as cheap and easy to churn out, and they usually are quite easy to turn a profit with. That's why they tend to be low effort garbage. But the best ones, are genuine works of terrifying art. It's just they require that bit of imagination and that bit of effort to do. And I think we said this the other night, if you can actually make a horror movie that's genuinely scary and isn't just, say, a gore fest or torture porn or anything like that, and it does create an actual unsettling mood, then you're doing something right as a director and a filmmaker. Yeah. There's got to be something in that. Small Hill says, which creatures in fiction terrify you as adults? For me, it's creatures who don't just kill you, but cause you to suffer a torturous afterlife, like the Shrike from the Hyperion books or the Man in Black from Dark Tower. So,
I mean, The Thing is one of them, for sure.
Yeah. You remember those slugs in Star Trek 2 that go in through your ear and tunnel their way into your brain? Yeah. I always thought they were quite freaky. Particularly when they're stuck inside your space helmet, and so there's no way to get them off you. It's it's good stuff like that. Sumit Shah says, Grace Randolph loved the aristocrats getting eaten scene. She thought it was hilarious. I mean, it does play like a comedy, but yeah, I don't know what they were going for with that.
It's not for me, I was just this is just so on the nose and also borderline pointless. And then just weird. Why were they still there?
Yeah. It's because they're so disconnected from the day-to-day concerns of the working man, Mauler.
Okay.
Yeah. I'd pancake that. Says the Alien Isolation game had a better acting and story than this Alien Earth TV show. Have you guys played it? Getting a lot of comments about that, actually.
Yeah. It's because it is the actual best thing since Aliens, instead of all the suggestions for everything. It's so weird because it's just the fate of every fucking project since Aliens is to just be considered the best thing since Aliens and then forgotten. That's all they all do.
Yep. Nobody talks about Romulus anymore, do they?
Thank fuck. But then Romulus 2 is going to have the same fucking process.
Yeah. OMG Puppies says maybe they should adapt Superman Red Sun, the alternative history where Superman's rocket lands in the Soviet Union instead of the USA. That'd be kind of interesting, actually.
Yeah,
I wouldn't be against seeing that. And he says, also check out Larry Niven's Man of Steel, Woman of Kleenex. It explains how Superman could never have sex with Lois Lane without killing her. Yeah, I mean, if he orgasms isn't going to like blast her apart with the power of it.
Lovely.
It's yeah, I'm sure The Boys does stuff like that. Des says, thanks for just spoiling the movie Weapons. No spoiler warning, just this is the twist ending. I haven't had a chance to see it yet, so thanks for that. What do you mean a twist ending? There's no twist to it. It's just a standard resolution.
Yeah, if anything, there's no like, oh, you thought it was that, but it was this. It's more of a, what is it? What is it? What is it? It's this.
And to be fair, yeah, we're talking about it like 10 days after it came out, so I think enough time had passed that we can have a proper discussion. So I reject your premise, sir. Sergio Levas says, Jurassic isn't done with July, though. For the panel, did you watch the new Jurassic game trailer? Thoughts? First up, by the way, and hail to the bar. Thank you. And is there a Jurassic Park game now coming out?
I don't think I've seen a trailer for that, so can't say.
Do you get to play as Scarlett Johansson?
I want to play as Retard Rex.
Retard Rex. Bellasaurus. The Master says, when your idols crumble, you become weaker. Nietzsche. That's why consumers fanatically defend IPs no matter how bad they get, like diehard bronies with MLP FIM or Razor Fist with Ridley Scott. I don't think Razor Fist loves everything that Ridley Scott did, but we can all appreciate his early work.
Not.
Jay Fraser, due to the 2023 Hollywood strikes, Pedro Pascal was originally cast as Archer Graff, but was replaced by Josh Brolin due to scheduling conflicts. Yes, he was. Thank God.
Yeah, I mean, and that goes to the point of saying that, like, Josh Brolin was really good.
He was indeed, yeah. He's just reliable as Brolin. I feel like he's always, he's a guy you can get like an authoritative performance.
Very good as dad man.
Yeah.
I mean, Thanos was a dad,
He was. Silent Evil, Michael Giacchino, sorry if I butchered the name, is the Pedro Pascal of film scoring. Is he just doing everything these days?
Oh yeah, he's in a lot of stuff. I mean, yeah, I like a lot of his stuff though, so.
And Doge says, I really wanted Superman to be good and to succeed. Should have been a home run, yet they screwed it up with divisive reception and terrible marketing push. And the film was a bit shit, so that didn't help. The divisive reception was just mostly the construction of the media rather than any of the people involved in the movie. I don't think they tried to push it as political. And yeah, the marketing push was just so overblown. It's like, I said this at the time, I was actually starting to get pissed off with the film before it even came out because it had been talked about so fucking much. I was just bored. Yeah, man, it's all those things came together, really. The fact that the film wasn't particularly good, and so the word of mouth was kind of mixed. And the market cap on superhero movies has just shifted. It's gone down now. Yeah, it was a bad combination. But that right there was the last of the super chats. So I'm sorry you didn't get like a rambling 2-hour last orders like you got last time, but there weren't as many this time around, and Mauler isn't as drunk this week. So
true.
This is what happens. But thank you, guys. We appreciate you sending us all these super chats, and we will catch you on the next open bar. But right now, that's all we got for today. So go away now.
Toodle pip, cheerio.